Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to Weaves of Waves. I hope you can hear me above the rain. It's hitting the roof quite seriously, and so basically I'm not working today. No gardening to do because it's pouring with rain. So yeah, I was thinking of doing a live stream maybe later on. Maybe if I feel big and strong. Ah dear. So what I want to talk to you today, I want to talk to you about the third person that we create when two people meet. Now, it's a concept, okay, that's actually quite useful. You know when you meet someone and you're either absolutely repelled, absolutely drawn together, or just fairly indifferent. Okay, so what? Who cares? It's like, it was very well described in something called the human design. And the human design was a kind of mixture of chakras and astrology and a lot of intuition. And it's like there are spaces. There was like a whole system, and there are spaces in our body that when we come along, when someone else comes along and they fill those spaces and you fill their spaces, you're creating a third being. And it's quite an awesome thing to think about, because I couldn't work out why I had an effect on some people and not others. And all my life I've pissed people off just by my presence alone. I don't even need to speak. It's just like, oh, you either like it or you hate it. And it was always like has to be a pattern. For me, I had to find a pattern in it. And I looked into many things. Now, I'm not much of an astrologer. Astrology, yeah, there's too many flaws in it logically for me. Okay, some people have turned it into an art form, and I really respect that, because the art form that they're projecting is their own intuition, but they're using, I can use the circle that they have with all the houses, and you can use pretty much anything for divination and intuition. Astrology is a beautiful art form. However, as a science of any sort, yeah, I think it fell out of use in about the 17th, maybe 16th century. Yeah. But, okay, I had to start somewhere, and when I looked at my chart, they found that I had Pluto on the ascendant. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? Don't mean enemy. Okay, Pluto is the position of power. So basically, sex, drugs, rock and roll, all the power issues, all the issues that we feel underconfident about, or somebody can trigger our power issues. And guess what? That's my talent in life. I will trigger people's power issues. But the thing is, if you haven't got power issues, you're not triggered by me. Ha! So turn it round. It also means that I can be an asshole with my own power. Absolutely. I've had very little power in my life, so it's probably a good thing. But yes, if you are triggered by power issues, you will be pissed off at me for pretty much any reason you can think of. And that to me was a really big help, because it's like, it's not me, it's you. But then the human design comes along and tells you that you're creating a third person. And if that third person is a bit of an asshole, then it probably is me. Or us. It's us creating the asshole. And that's why some people I will find very yummy to be around, but yeah, we can cause havoc, we could cause chaos, and it's a lot of fun, but you got to be careful with that sort of stuff. Chaos, to invoke chaos, is never done lightly. I have done it. You can really mess up a Facebook group. You can really push your chaotic seed into a Facebook group and watch the whole thing crash. Yeah, it was shown to me. Somebody showed me how to do it, and I was most impressed with this. It was like, ooh, chaos can be invoked. But when you get two of us working together, and it's like, okay, let's cause some chaos. It's a very teenage thing to do. You know, teenagers love causing chaos. When I was a kid, I did cause a lot of chaos. You kind of grow out of that and see if you can just sort of sow the peace and a bit of order rather than the chaos. But yeah, the learning to know yourself, really know yourself, is like a lifelong path. It was engraved very beautifully on the walls of Delphi as knowing yourself. And I will look at any system that I can do to sort of get a mirror. I will look at people. In fact, my study of people is always trying to find out what I'm like. How do I respond to that? What is my opinion? And doing this sort of thing helps me verbalize my own opinion, because if it's all getting messed up in my head, then it doesn't go any further, and also I don't come to any conclusion. It's not a flow. It's a jerky all over the place. It's one of those mind maps. Whereas having to verbalize, having to put it into conversation is one of the most valuable things that we've got these days. So it's a tell people, talk to people. And I would say, as a gender, whoops, maybe I shouldn't go down that route, men are really bad at it. And it's like, really, they need to talk more. Communication. Get it out, converse, sit, listen to someone communicating, because it's very, very important. Because what they're doing is they're straightening out their own heads. So that's why I'm very fond of the whole psychology, the counselling, all of that stuff. Because it's teaching people to listen and help people get the flow through, because it's very important. So, when I came across all these things, I learned more about myself, and I'm still learning more about myself. It's an ongoing thing. What triggers me? Not much these days, but I will freely admit there was things. There used to be a Facebook group that went out of its way to trigger you. Be warned, you were going to get triggered. And I thought, nah, I'm big and strong, I'm old enough, ugly enough, I know how not to get triggered. Nah. There was a lot of hanging kids, or it was a really nasty picture of... And I took it deeply. The mother in me took it really, really deeply. And I was triggered. I was like... It was an image that triggered me. So I was like, okay, well done. The people in that group succeeded. I can be triggered. Thank you for the lesson. I think I'm going to leave for a while. I don't really want to be triggered in that way. I don't like the suffering and the sorrowful things that's happening in the world with children. That's inbuilt. You protect the innocent. You protect the smaller beings. Protect the cats, the dogs, and all the little creatures that you can. It seems to be inbuilt in me to do that and to feel compassion for it. And I will be triggered if somebody is hurting an animal, most specifically an animal or a child. And I kind of view the world through that. So, like, if you're not somebody who wants to hurt a child, it's like, what the fuck? How? Why? It's a curious, but it's curious revolting. It revolts me. And I don't get it, personally. How? And yet they're triggering it all over the planet. There's big things about people hurting children. And you're like, why? It goes against the natural grain of any parent. It should do anyway. Unless they're very warped or twisted or drug addicted, or they must have been beaten up, hurt themselves. It's a very fascinating subject. But when you start to look at yourself, you have to look at the subjects that other people don't want to look at. You have to see things. I have a mischievous streak. I like causing chaos. I like being cheeky. I like having a sense of humour. My sense of humour may be different from yours, therefore what I say may not be funny to you, but it was funny to me and I was amused. So you could be offended at my humour, and that's another thing that I have to watch. So it's like, most of what I say is joking. So again, looking at yourself. So whereas the human design was very useful, it doesn't cover everything, because the human design also takes your birthday and your birthplace of birth. And it doesn't matter where I was born now. I left it a long time ago. I don't know what's going on there. It's changed, and I've changed. So does it give you an accurate representation of yourself now? No. Neither does astrology. My birthday is in a few weeks. That makes me a Gemini. So what? Two-faced schizophrenic. When I'm good, I'm very, very good, and when I'm bad, I'm better. Everybody will have who they are, whether they're Sagittarius, sort of Capricorn, Taurus, whatever. All of them will have like a bog standard thing, and it amuses me, and sometimes it may trigger a little thought or a knowledge, so I will I will drift through them. But at the end of the day, knowing yourself has to come from lots of different sources. I know you've learned what you don't like, but a lot easier. So you're triggered by something, and then it's a repulsion. But then you are also got to learn what you do like, and the mind can play funny tricks on you there. But knowing yourself, do you dare face yourself in the mirror? I do fine. I obviously wondered about that. Do people have a problem facing themselves in the mirror? Yeah, I can see I'm growing old. So what? There's not much I can do about it. Certainly not going to fight it. Yeah, I'm probably putting on a bit of weight. Whoopsie. I don't care. I don't care too much. I would like more discipline sometimes, but life is quite hard to cope with right now, so all my coping mechanisms are necessary. But as I said yesterday, I'm learning my own body just as I'm learning my own mind. And anyone who tells me I'm wrong, fuck off. Don't tell me I'm wrong that I'm a carnivore. Sorry. Ugh. My body has talked to me. I agree that I would rather be a vegetarian from a moral point of view, but my body says no. I can't eat vegetables and I don't like salads. So how can we want to be a vegetarian if, okay, fruit. Fruit's alright, but I prefer not fruit because as a keto there's sugar in it. It gives you an insulin spike. But don't tell me I'm wrong when it's my experience. If your experience is you prefer vegetables and you live fine as a vegetarian or vegan, many blessings to you. Okay? But, yeah, my experiences, I will only talk about my own personal experiences, what I know, how I've learnt, what I've gone through to learn this, has been well worth it. Okay? All the shadows, all the triggers, all the things I've had to sacrifice, okay? I'd do it all again. Because where I am now is a stronger, more whole, less influenced being that I like. I like myself. And it's taken a long time. I'm comfortable, more comfortable now in my own body, even though it's going through some weird changes. I can still accept those changes a lot better than I would have 10, 15, 20 years ago. So knowing myself is the whole be-all and end-all of everything. And yeah, I find that I'm still learning, but on the whole, it's a good journey. Okay, maybe I'll do a live stream later. Maybe I'll be big and strong. Love you lots. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye now.